William, you know what it is outside right now?
Moist.
It's hot as shit. And here we are doing some Detroit Lions podcast. Hopefully everyone's hanging out by the pool, having a nice drink outside, staying cool because it's warm here in the state of Michigan. It's hot. But you know what's even hotter, William, is the fact that the Detroit Lions play football in 4 days. That's the hottest topic of the week, all right? Baseball season, you've done your job. You've carried me to the Detroit Lions season. It is officially that time. Well, I'm excited. We got a game coming up in 4 days. Hammer that like and subscribe button. It helps us out a whole lot. But Will, a lot to dive into because we took yesterday off, Saturday off day. Where do you want to begin? What are we talking about today?
Steve, there's some young dogs. There's some young dogs for the Detroit Lions that are balling. And it's floating around the web. It's floating around the Detroit Lions facility. It's floating around the Detroit Lions highlights. So there's a couple of them that I know we're going to get into today. Before we even speak on them, Detroit Den family, put it in the comments who you think you or hope that we should be talking about, or anybody that we miss if it's down the road in the podcast. But there's only a couple that I'm drooling over. So Steve, where you want to start this thing at?
First, I think this might be one of those things where Brad Holmes might have done it again in the draft. Okay. Last year, we thought the draft was going to be a little bit sexier than it was, but it was a good draft. We liked it. But I think after that draft, we kind of said, this is a draft that's maybe more geared toward the future. This draft that we just had this past April, I think this is a draft that's going to help this team immediately. I've been hearing and seeing with my own two eyes, William, nothing but good things about Isaac Tesla. Nothing but good things. And I'm seeing it. Yeah. Play the clip. Roll the tape. Tape don't lie. Lost. Who's that right there, Will? Is that number 2? Is that Hendon Hooker? Hendon Hooker threw that football?
I think that is Hendon Hooker, but I missed it. I missed it. I maybe one more time because great ball over him. Great ball over him. Listen, Steve, this young man has not played a football game yet, but I got to stand on my head here and say this. When we drafted him, I said,
just a guy is what you called him. Will. Just a guy.
He's a jag, just a guy right now. Listen, these people that are talking about 1,000 yards, okay, yeah. Pump the brakes here. Pump the brakes. But I like what I'm seeing. I asked that young man, I said, listen, these people are talking crazy about you. You're going to have to show me something before I get on board, before I get excited. He said, okay, sir. Okay, sir. So he's showing out. He had a couple other catches, man. There were some doggone good catches, man. That we ain't going to make this a whole Isaac Tesla show, but I'm geeked about him as it stands right now as a elite role player. Now, Will isn't losing his mind. Elite role player that's going to make some big plays and some big ball games. Steve, how are you feeling about him?
Oh, I've been on the Tesla train since day one, Will. Since I found out we had a visit with him, I started doing the homework, started doing the research, and I started saying, if this kid played at a bigger college, I think he would have been a potential mid-second round pick. Like, I think he has the value there. When you're stuck in Arkansas, there ain't a whole lot there going on offensively. But if he played at a place like Oregon, Alabama, Georgia, or somewhere bigger, I think he has the skill set. He could have done so. I don't know what the enticement was with Arkansas, but well, I think that's what kind of hampered his draft status was a little bit of lack of production, but you got to look at how that offense was going. It wasn't going well. And Brad Holmes said that this was his favorite wide receiver in the entire draft. And I called bullshit on that, Will. I did call bullshit because it's easy to say that after you draft him. You got to come to the stage an hour before picking him and say, this is my favorite wide receiver in this draft. But he's a Detroit Lion, 6'4", runs a 4.4 40. I think he could be one of those guys that we just saw in that clip, makes those contested catches, a deep ball threat, win a 50-50 jump ball. We don't have anyone like that on the team. As much as I love St. Brown and Jamison Williams, they're not going up and they're not mossing anyone like we just saw. All right. I think he is going to be a very, very good role player for this team as a rookie. I don't see 1,000 yards. I hope I'm wrong. I hope at the end of week 17, we're coming on here. We're talking about Isaac having 1,200 yards and 5-6 touchdowns, but I just don't think that that's a fair expectation for him as a rookie. So let me ask you this, Will. The Tesla train's leaving the station. Are you jumping on, or are you catching the next in like week 4 when the momentum is really going?
Steve, it's a dangerous question because I need to know, where are we trying to take this train? Are we taking this train?
Taking this train to the Super Bowl. That's the only stop. One stop.
Oh, we're just going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, he's going to play a role in us winning the Super Bowl. I'll say that. He's going to play a role. Now, what is that role going to be? The role isn't going to be jump on his back and he's going to lead us there. But the role is going to be, hey, these defensive coordinators are staying up late at night trying to figure out how to stop St. Brown, Laporta, J-Mo, Gibbs, Montgomery. And then all of a sudden, man, we weren't really thinking about this kid. You know what I mean? We knew he was pretty good, but man, he caught 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? That's the situation that it's going to be, but it's not going to be week in and week out. He's just carrying the Detroit Lions offense. That's all I'm saying. The kid is a heck of a player. He's making plays. He's actually reminding me of Brian Branch. Brian Branch was a guy that we both were pounding the table for, and we both had high expectations, but then he got into camp and he showed, I'm ready. I'm ready, guys. I don't need a year. I'm ready right now. The way he's catching these 50-50 balls, the way that he's staying after practice and getting on the jugs machine, the way that he is staying after practice and working on his releases with Raymond, with St. Brown. I'm interested. So to answer the question, I'm on the train.
Well, so just talking about that one clip, I know it's just one play, but we've been seeing things all throughout training camp from the beat writers that he's had a good day at practice. He's had a good day doing X, doing Y, doing Z. This is just a little clip. And I don't know who number 17 was as a corner, but he's in damn good position there. It's not like, he's making a bad play on the football himself. Isaac Tesla just took the ball away. He comes down at the 1. Maybe it's a touchdown. I don't know. David Montgomery, come in, do your thing, clean this up. But I'm excited. Well, I think he could unlock the offense because, like you said, and we've talked about this before, when you're focused on so many other pieces and you subtly forget about a 6'4", 4'4" guy, like I don't know many quarterback threes in the NFL that are covering guys that size and that speed and that type of catching ability. It's going to be a tough matchup. But I'm excited, Will. Who else do you want to talk about today? You want to keep it in the wide receiver room?
Steve, the first thing that I want to say, or one thing I want to say before we get off of that is, my next challenge, Isaac, is this. I don't want you getting thrown 50-50 balls now. I want you to start being thrown 60-40 balls. I want to turn into 60-40. Yeah, 70-30s would be like, I will be over the moon. We might have to give away a jersey, but 60-40 balls, that's what I want to turn into. Now, Steve, I've been pounding the table for somebody, and it's not in a way. I don't think that he's going to make the same impact, but I think that it's going to be an important impact, and I do think that he is going to make this football team. I'm going to say it again before people hammer me. I'm not saying that he is going to have a crazy impact, but I do think that he can be a long-term answer to some questions that we have on this roster. I'm not going to get into those answers because I don't want to disrespect anybody else on this roster that I think is going to be on this roster this season and going to be making plays for us. But I will give it a player and stop running my mouth. None other than Dominic Lovett. Dominic Lovett is going to be one of the receivers that makes this roster, Steve. Do you believe it? How do you feel about it? Because as I go through the highlights each week, each practice, each time the Detroit Lions put something out, or these other podcasts or these beat writers that get to be at practice, they're either talking about him or there's a clip of him, Steve, doing something like this.
Is that Kenny Galladay? Kenny Galladay in that 1-9?
Whoa. Pump the brakes. I guess Kenny did make some plays in Detroit. He
had a good season or two.
Yeah, when he decided to kill his career when he left Detroit. So I guess maybe Detroit Lions Kenny to Galladay we can roll with, but faster, more elusive. So Steve, are you on the Dominic Lovett train, or where you at with it?
I do think he's making the team. I do. My only thing that I'm really struggling with is who's the odd man out, Will, because I've heard some good things about Tim Patrick this offseason, that he looks young and refreshed and rejuvenated and healthy for the first time in a full training camp in I think almost 3 years when he was with the Broncos and he had those Achilles injuries. So Tim Patrick's a name that I've been hearing. I mean, we just talked to Isaac, Dominic Lovett, J-Mo's making the team, St. Brown, Khalif Raymond. I mean, that's 6 wide receivers right there, Will. So, I mean, Ronnie Bell, Jackson Meeks, Jacoby Keeney James, like, I don't know. You guys are really going to have to do something to stand out and make an argument for yourselves, because I don't want to say any jobs are being won yet without a preseason game under our belt yet, but it's tough sledding, Will. I think he does make the team. I could see him as I don't know where he's going to fit exactly, because I don't know that he's taking Khalif's job as the punt returner. I don't know that he's getting meaningful game reps. What you got, Will? The number 6. Yes.
6. That's where he fits. He's going to be It's going to be St. Brown, J-Mo, Khalif Raymond, Tim Patrick, Tesla, and then Dominic Lovett. We're going to have Bell, Keeney James, Meeks, and TK85 are going to be casualties. TK85 is going to go to the practice squad. Meeks is going to go to the practice squad and get picked up by somebody. I think that ultimately we probably end up with Keeney James on the practice squad if he, as a player who maybe might not get sniped.
Yeah, tough sliding, because wide receivers, I'm with you. I agree. I just don't know what his role is going to be on the active roster. How many snaps is he going to be seeing as wide receiver 6? Like, he's special teams. Is he going to be a gunner? That's really the only thing I can really see him doing as of now, unless Khalif Raymond gets a boo-boo and he has to go back there and return some punts or maybe some kickoffs. So there is a path for him to get some reps, but I think mostly, you'll probably be seeing him on a punt team. Maybe kickoff return, but I mean, we don't really see kickoff returns anymore. They just kind of kick them through the end zone, so it's kind of still a meaningless play. But I'm with you 100%, Will.
Yeah, and they're saying that it's supposed to be more kick returns this season, so maybe we see him on that kick return getting a little bit of action. I'd rather have him back there as it stands right now than Khalif. Khalif is more of a pivotal role right now than a Dominic Lovett. So if we could have Dominic Lovett taking those reps, taking those risks back there rather than having it be Khalif, I'm cool with it, man, because the dude has some game. He makes plays. He's one of those guys, man. He just makes stuff happen somehow. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. He's not the most elusive, but somehow he just keeps making plays. And if you got somebody who can make plays, you put the football in their hands.
Yeah, well, this offensive line or this offensive wide receiver room is just absolutely loaded. I can't remember a time where it's been this deep and we've been this excited about it, where we got 2 rookies and we're trying to find a way to get them the football because they're so damn good. Like Brad and Dan, I'm sorry for the job you have to do with some of these cuts you're going to have to make here in a few weeks. But when I just look at the wide receiver room, we're 6 deep, and I'm very comfortable with all 6 players that are in this 53-man roster, according to Stephen Will. That might not be how it shakes out, but I would be shocked if anything else happens. So how are we going to get these guys the ball remains to be seen, but I do think we're going to get a heavy dose of them for the next 4 weeks in preseason.
I feel like, Steve, we're going to get these guys the ball by just taking what they give us. The defense is going to tell us who to give the ball, and that's going to be a great problem to have for Jared Goff. Who's open? All right, I'll give it to you. I mean, you guys want to cover everybody? You guys want to drop back max coverage? Okay, I'll just hand it off. It's going to be interesting.
I love it.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see it. I'm super excited for it. If you guys can't tell, they told me yesterday, the day before yesterday, Steve, I had to calm down. I'm trying to calm down, but we're this close to football, and I think these young guys are going to be fighting tooth and nail all over, offense, defense, special teams to make this team, and it's going to be exciting.
I want to know who's telling you to calm down. Well, how can you calm down when football starts this week? You need different people in your life if they're telling you to calm down.
Get rid of them. Comments.
You guys need to get more excited. I don't know what you think this is. This is a Detroit Lions podcast, 365, 24/7. We are excited. This is like opening week, essentially, of football. A lot of people think that the season doesn't start till September. No. It started 2 weeks ago. We get to see the product on the field in 4 days. So can't wait. But Will, we could have done a whole show on just wide receivers today, but there's another rookie that is just flying up the depth chart. A guy that we were very excited about when we drafted, Ahmed Hassanin, getting some second team reps already. Now, I'll ask you a question. It's exciting to hear that he's in that second string role. I love that. I think that's great for where he is and what we have as our starters right now. But do you think that it's because he's earned it, or do you think it's because we're a little light at defensive end on the depth chart and he's a product of that situation?
No, I think he earned it. I think he's being rewarded for how he practices. I think he's being rewarded for how he prepares. I think he's being rewarded for just taking care of business, Steve, and being the guy that deserves those reps. We've talked about it before. The Detroit Lions gives it to the player who deserves it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to them. Were you a first round pick? Were you undrafted free agent? Doesn't matter. The player who deserves the reps is going to be the one that gets the reps. He talked about how, and then it was just a funny story to me. I don't know if you saw it, but he was talking about how he was learning stuff from Aiden Hutchinson, and then Aiden showed him something, and then he went out and used it, and it worked, and he was just like, "Hey man, I just want to give you a hug right now." And Aiden was like, "What? what is happening right now?" But he's just a passionate dude, man. He's a passionate dude, and I don't know that he gets it this year, Steve, as far as being a guy who's impactful week in and week out, as far as from a skill set standpoint. But I'll tell you this, I believe that he figures it out from a effort standpoint, and he just wears on people. He wears on people, and that's what I expect to see. He'll grow coming into next season. I expect big things out of him.
Well, when I hear interviews with Dan Campbell on some of these mainstream media topics, and he's talking about Aiden Hutchinson being better than he was last year, that scares me. It scares me a lot. And then when I think of what this defensive line might look like in 2 or 3 years, where you have two high motor, high effort, high intensity guys going after the quarterback, a race to get there. If Ahmed Hassanin figures it out and he's on the opposite edge of Aiden Hutchinson for the long term after we move on from Marcus Davenport, who's still doing really well this preseason. I think Tim Twentyman put out an article today of his top guys that have kind of surprised him. And I think Marcus Davenport was number one, if not top 5 for sure. So if that's the depth we have, where we're getting Ahmed Hassanin as your second wave of pass rusher, and he's being productive eventually, Will. I could talk all day about some guys that I think are really shining in training camp. Like, I mean, if we're just sticking to these 3, I love what we have. I can't wait for the future. I can't wait to see this kid in person on Thursday, to see up close and personal what he's all about, because I think he's going to be featured in the defense in these preseason games.
I definitely think he's going to be featured, Steve. And I want to say something, and I believe before we get out of here, I believe that people can do relatively anything that they set their minds to. That's something that I believe. Now, you have to be in the realm. Like, we can't just decide now at our age that we're just going to the NFL. But when you're in the building, right, when you're in the conversation, if you commit your heart and soul to doing something, I think you do it. And I think that's what we're seeing out of Hassanin. He's committed his heart and soul to being a good freaking football player. I don't see how it doesn't get done. That's the bottom line for me. So I'm expecting him to make some effort plays throughout preseason. I'm expecting him to be a problem for people to deal with his motor, because he goes hard all the time. They talk about trying to taper him back for walkthroughs, because he's going hard through walkthroughs, right? That's just who he is to his core. So Hassanin is a guy, I got him circled. I'm going to be watching him. When I pull up the all 22 after the games to watch that, I'm going to be rewatching him again. He's on that circled list, as is a few other players, but we'll save that for another show.
I can't wait, Will. Thursday just can't get here fast enough. 3 rookies. Like, we did a whole show just now on 3 rookies who are going to be playing a huge factor for the Detroit Lions in 2025. Like, I truly believe, if not week 1 for Ahmed Hassanin, I would say by middle of the season, I think he starts to figure a couple things out and starts getting more involved in the game planning, and maybe see some rotational first team reps. I wouldn't be surprised if it's by week 8. I think Tesla could be a guy that's week 1 wide receiver 3. Dominic Lovett could be, with some injuries or something. If something happens and we need him returning kicks, returning punts, maybe moving up to wide receiver 4 and getting some reps. Like, these are 3 guys that I think are going to play a huge role for the Detroit Lions. And I think that's exactly what we need. We need depth, because we were definitely tested last year. So the more pieces we add, I know a lot of people weren't happy with the draft, but I think it's going to quiet a lot of people up once you start seeing some football film and some games being played.
No, I agree 100%, Steve. We're about to get some answers come Thursday, though. And I think that the dust is going to settle on a few guys. But lastly, Steve, I forgot about this. I think it needs to be talked about for the people that are still here. We cut somebody today. We cut a corner today, unfortunately. But we got an extra roster spot.
I
We had
already
a
know where you're going,
conversation.
Will.
We had a conversation with somebody here recently by the name of Matthew Judon. Do you think maybe we wake up from our little sleeps in the morning and maybe Matthew Judon is a Lion?
If you start, well, I mean, I'm going to be pretty busy at work tomorrow, but if you see that phone ringing and it's a FaceTime, you know something happened. All right. And I expect the same, vice versa. I don't know why he's not signed yet. If I'm being honest with you, you can't have enough pass rushers in the NFL. Every sport you need a plan A, B, C, or D. Like if it's baseball, you can never have too many bullpen arms. If it's hockey, you can never have too many goal scorers. If it's football, you can never have enough pass rushers. So if we can get a hometown kid for a fair price, someone who can produce 5 to 8 sacks, will sign me up all day, because you know what I'm about. Trench warfare, putting pressure on the quarterback, making our elite secondary that much more elite where those guys don't even have to show up. Maybe we just send out 5-6 guys and we just get after the quarterback, and the safeties and corners don't really have to do too much, and they have the easiest job in the world. I'm all about it, Will. I would love to wake up to that news tonight, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday before the first game, and he's on the sidelines, not really playing, but kind of like a Zadarius Smith, where he's just kind of out there coaching people up and watching and getting used to it. Will, I would love nothing more than for that Matthew Judon to happen this week.
All I'm thinking about is this, Steve, and this is crazy. I know it's crazy, but Frank Ragnow retired. There was some money that was locked into Frank Ragnow. We were trying to sign Zadarius Smith before we lost Frank Ragnow. Is there a world where Zadarius is still a Lion? Matthew Judon is a Lion? This is 2 short-term contracts. I'm just letting the world know that I'm dreaming big.
I don't call that a world, Will. I call that a wet dream, if I'm being honest.
Period. And I think that it's doable. I think Frank Ragnow opens the money to make it doable. So, Brad, please go get Zadarius, go get Matthew Judon. Let's have the insurance. Let's stop these mobile quarterbacks from coming to Detroit and just having their way, because we're living in a world where Aiden's out there, Davenport's out there, Judon's out there. Thoughts and prayers. That's
William. I'm just going to tell you this: like, my wife would have to change the bed sheets in the morning if that's my dream. I was going to be honest with you, like, hey, I'm just going to wake up for work, give her a nudge, like, hey, don't roll over. All right, change your sheets when you get up. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, there's money. Plus, we had salary cap money before Frank Ragnow retired, so now we got a little bit of extra coin floating around. Like, Brad, we got potentially 10 more sacks out there, and I'm not just look at the stats on ESPN and see just sacks, but I see guys who are matchup problems. And can help some defensive linemen win some one-on-ones. We did a whole show on rookies, Will. We didn't even have to mention our first-round pick, Tyleek Williams.
That's what I'm saying.
We would just be a pass-rushing nightmare with our secondary, with our line. Well, we might have to save this for another show. I don't want to keep talking about it.
Hey, listen, Steve, this could be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Coach Chef, you might be getting blessed with all types of weapons and tools. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's make AG say, where the fuck was this when I was in town? Where were all these pass rushers when I was in town? Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.